Tommy, how you doing?
Good. What's going on? Hi, Christian. Hello, Mego.
Hello.
Good to talk with you, and great to be getting these hot scoops from you these days, especially about this meeting between Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. I feel like that's something that a lot of people have played up in their mind about how that would go. Wouldn't you say, Tom? Like, I feel like fans and people like me, we all sort of were wondering how this conversation would go. And I got to tell you, your report, very anticlimactic. I was hoping for fireworks. I was hoping for someone flipping a desk or something, but sounds like it was all very cordial.
Yeah, that really was what needed to happen because we know how Bill generally operates. He's close to the vest. He's not someone who's going to sit there and open a vein and say, yeah, I did this wrong. What a mess up. I can't believe it. I think in many ways, Bill has been given latitude by the Kraft family to make the decisions that he's made over the years, and he's earned it. And he's taken advantage of that. And even when he is making decisions as to the team, he's obviously going to include his boss as much as possible, but Bill plays things out. And when he says we'll see about things, he means we'll see. So when we talk about how the 2023 coaching staff is going to look, I bet we'll see is an apt description. But nothing happened in the meeting that will cause anyone's heels to be dug in and any strife to be seen going forward as to, oh, is Bill going to finish his career here or is he going to chase Shula someplace else? So I think that's good to have cleared out of the way.
So just clarification, there is no sense from you, from who you've talked to, that Bill is going anywhere in the coming season?
100%.
Okay.
No.
That's good news. That's good news. I want to go back to the sound that we were just playing there, Chris Sims and Mike Florio, talking about this idea that Mac Jones was reaching outside of the building, reaching out for help, and that this pissed Bill off. Is that something that you've heard anything about?
I think what, to me, the bigger issue here is, and this actually will play into a follow-up point, is there's some Mac stabbing going on.
Nice.
Chris Sims, worked.
Is that trademarked, or can we use that, Tommy?
Yeah, go ahead. Chris Sims worked in the Patriots organization. He obviously is well connected within the league and around the league. And if you look at this situation, well, someone's telling Chris Sims that, yeah, Mac acts out. Mac's driving us crazy. He might show us up when the television cameras are rolling, but you know what? He can be a real pain in the ass. And Bill's just about had it. To me, that is what part of the New England Patriots have become about lately in the last few years. They've always been that way to a degree. Very Machiavellian, very much protecting your own territory, saving face, getting your story, your narrative out there as quickly as possible. And I think that Mac Jones' narrative carried the day for a long, 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 long time because it was obvious it was a mistake. But it became so overt that now I think you're seeing pushback. And I'm not surprised if the pushback isn't coming from Joe Judge and or Matt Patricia, because those are two individuals who got the golden tickets of being head coaches. They got the massive contracts. Neither of them did well in those occasions. They'd love to get those golden tickets again, just like Josh McDaniels and Brian Flores and you name it, got them. But the best way to do that is to succeed here. And if you're actually coming out of here with your name being mud, well, that ain't good. So this kind of crap has to stop within that organization. But Bill has traded in this his entire career. This is how Bill operates. It's intel. It's trading information, it's controlling narratives, its perception is reality, and that's why being cloistered as much as he is important to him. He doesn't want stuff getting out. This is kind of the outgrowth to me of what that's all about. I'm sorry to go on so long. I vouched myself.
No, it's very interesting. Go on.
They can't have it. They got to stop it. But this is what happened. I really believe that this Mac backlash, some of which he deserved, absolutely, for being a dink. I liked it at first, started to get ridiculous. I think that some of his teammates might have said, cut it out, and he did, which speaks well of him and the teammates. But this, what we're starting to see pushed forward by some folks in different media circles of, well, Mac was really a big baby, and we're getting a little bit overboard. I think that's coming from someplace.
Interesting. With that in mind, there was talk of reassignments in this meeting on the coaching staff. What might that look like?
That's really hard to pin down, Christian, and that's what's going to be interesting to see. We won't perhaps even know. We'll probably go through the same thing we went through last June and July. So, Bill, what are they actually doing? I mean, they're all good coaches.
Great.
I mean, you have to be versatile. I don't think you can really figure out where people are going until there are new hires made. And who those new hires are and what the vision for those folks will be remains TBD. So, for instance, if Bill O'Brien, for example, were to come in and say, yeah, I like working with Matt. Why don't we leave him as the OL coach? Bill, I'd be cool with that. Boy, I don't know if Nick Caley shouldn't be a quarterback's coach. So all of those things could happen. Somebody might need a passing game coordinator and bring that in. I just don't think there's going to be firings. Reassignments, perhaps. I don't know if I'm talking on offense. I mean, Cam Akord has not had a couple of good years here. That's a different story. But I'm not making a prediction there either.
Tom, all the speculation right now is around who from the outside could be brought in to be offensive coordinator, or perhaps someone like Nick Caley. Is that a job that's highly desired right now?
Great question. And
Thank
you and I
you.
already talked about this. But do you think, see, Mego, if you look at this team and you do look at it from afar, yeah, you're going to make a lot of money. And yes, relative to where you are and what you're doing, perhaps. And yes, you're working alongside an incarnation of Lombardi and Bill Walsh and George Hallis and everything else. And that's a privilege and something you'll always be able to tell your grandkids you did. But you're also looking at it from afar and saying that team doesn't have tackles on either side of its offensive line. That team has a weird setup at wide receiver. That team has a $19 million dead hit if they get rid of their $17 million tight end that they still haven't figured out how to use. And boy, Max seemed like a baby sometimes last year. I keep hearing all these stories about what a dink he was. So do you want to get into that? Meanwhile, you're looking at it and going, well, what's going to happen with Patricia and Joe Judge? Are they going to be right there over my shoulder, or maybe whispering behind my back about what kind of job I'm doing? The power struggle in New England has been real for a long time, and there's a lot of folks who've left over the last 5 years who were happy to be out from under it. But again, there's guys like Jack Easterby who were hired here by Bill to be the character coach of all things, and he contributed to it. This kind of Machiavellian crap, and they need to clean it up.
So for somebody like Kliff Kingsbury, is this a situation where he looks at it and he goes, I've handled worse? Or is it something where somebody like him is saying, you know what, I really can't dive into that kind of thing again?
I think it will probably be the latter. You guys, he's about your age. I bet he looks at it and goes, you know what, you people are smart, you kids, about managing your mental health. And I don't think the Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals situation did a hell of a lot to help his mental health. So nobody's going to get any more relaxed coming to New England. So for Kliff Kingsbury making $30 million between now and 2027, or whatever is left on his contract, rather than coming out here, that might make sense. However, Kay Adams, your successor, Meg.
And predecessor.
The
great.
She said the other day on Quick Slants that knowing Kliff Kingsbury as she has come to know him, he's not one who's going to want to sit around that nice condo in Arizona or house, whatever it is, and wonder what my next step is or contemplate his navel. He wants to work. So he'll work.
Before we let you go, Tommy, Jerod Meyo requested from Carolina to speak with him. How do you envision that situation being resolved? Will he leave, or do you think he'll get defensive coordinator here in New England?
I don't think the Patriots want him to leave at all. Whether or not he's given that title of defensive coordinator, which in the past, the notion of making him a co-defensive coordinator has been broached. He didn't find that attractive because he didn't think that was reflective of what was actually going on. So that's why he stayed as linebackers coach as opposed to any other title. Is just the defensive coordinator okay, or can you slap an associate head coach on there so he can stop going into meetings or interviews and trying to explain just what level of expertise he has? I don't think the Patriots want him to leave. I don't think that ownership, based on my conversations over the past few years, would want him to leave. I think there will be a great effort made to keep him here.
All right, then we'll leave it right there. Tommy Curran, thanks so much for the time. Always great to talk with you.
All right. See you, Christian. Bye, Mego.